Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Good to have you here as always. So this week I'm talking about dating. Yeah, dating as a neo-Nazi skinhead, as a hammer skin. Must have been amazing, right? Girls are beating up half of my door.
Werwolf heißt.
Everyone's going, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to date a neo-Nazi skinhead. Oh, let's go. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was challenging, to say the least. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to share some of my experiences from my time dating. And for those who are new to the scene, new to the movement, and you're thinking about dating, well, this might be some helpful advice for you. So let's get into it. Dating as a neo-Nazi skinhead. As always, every great video starts with a great coffee, and so do a lot of great dates. So cheers to that. Delicious. And hey, if you want to support me and support the channel, you can buy me a coffee. All the links are in the description below. So yeah, dating as a neo-Nazi skinhead. It definitely wasn't what I expected. It definitely wasn't the romantic comedy I imagined. In fact, it was more romper stomper than Notting Hill.
What are you eating that rubbish for? You got rocks in your head? I'm not living with no fat bitch.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag of nuts, let me tell you. Now, for the most of my years spent with the movement, I was actually married. Now, my wife did leave me because of my involvement in the movement. So there you go. There's the first indication of whether a woman wanted to be with a neo-Nazi skinhead or not. My wife certainly didn't. Now, we were back and forth for a few years, reconciling, get back together, blah, blah, blah. But in those times when we weren't together, I dated. She had a nickname for me, and it was came about before we even got together, and she called me a male slut. Now, I was a bit of a player in my early years. I was a tattooist, and I was a young tattooist who was single for the most part of his career. And, I loved the ladies loved me, and it was a good time all around. And so, after years of being with the MC and playing it up and being the player and then finally settling down and getting married, when I started dating as a skinhead, yeah, that's when I noticed a massive change. I had become very confident in my early years, because I was a tattooist. As I said, it was very easy for me to date and to meet a lot of women and to go out on dates and all that kind of stuff. Then when it came to being a skinhead, wow, that was different, because how do you slip that into conversation? So yeah, I'm into tattoos, I'm into punk music, metal, I have a couple of really cute cats. Oh, that's really cute, yeah. I'm also a member of a violent neo-Nazi skinhead gang. I've got to go. So what about girls from the movement? Yeah, skinhead girls. That's a lot easier, right? There's a plethora of beautiful, young, racialist women out there who just, want to be a part of this. Not really. There's not an abundance of young single women in the movement. And usually when there are, they get swamped by 100 dudes. Huh?
No, Jenny, you gotta cover up. Cover up. Run!
Who have been single so long, they'll just, attach themselves to anyone who says hello to them. So the dating scene within the white power, white nationalist movement, it was pretty grim. A lot of the time it was like, oh, hey, you're a racialist? Cool. You want to hook up? Yeah, all right, cool. Because there's no one else around. I did actually date a couple of people from the movement in the beginning. One of them was actually just an online relationship. We met online through one of the forums, and we developed a bit of a relationship, and we dated for a while anyway. It was nothing too serious, obviously, because it was online. But then I also dated another girl that I met online through the networks, and then she actually came out to Australia for a short time. It's only a short time because she went crazy and she actually physically attacked me. So yeah, I sent her ass packing back to America, where she continued to stalk me for about a year afterwards. So I was like, okay, yeah, I don't really want to date within this movement because all the girls that I met that are single in this movement are generally a little bit crazy. They have issues or they're just not someone I want to date. I started looking at the Australian movement, and there's just there wasn't a lot around. Most of the women involved in the movement had been involved or were involved with other skinheads. And many of the skinheads in the scene, usually one after the other. Because it's a closed community, everyone dates within the community, and yeah, it's not a great dating pool, that's for sure. So I didn't want any part of it. No, not for me, thank you. So of course, I would date outside. Occasionally I would date some of my tattoo clients, and that was fine because they knew me as a tattooist. The whole skinhead thing was a bit low key. I wouldn't really go much into it, especially if I was just dating. If we were going out, hanging out, having drinks or whatever, then cool. I would just keep that on the down low. If we started becoming more serious, more involved, then obviously I would let them know the extent of my involvement with the movement. I'm also a member of a violent neo-Nazi skinhead gang. Most of them were fine with it. Some of them weren't, and those who weren't, obviously, we went our separate ways and said farewell, and okay, that's not for me. I've got to go. I never really got a lot of negative feedback from them. I don't really know whether they were sitting there thinking, oh God, I can't wait to get away from this horrible Nazi person or not. They never said. The fact that they didn't stick around was probably said enough. But then, yes, there were some girls who actually didn't mind. They didn't mind the notoriety that went with dating a patched gang member. 'Cause ladies love outlaws. And that's how many of them actually saw me and saw what I was doing. They just saw it as another patch. I was just a patch member of another gang. Now, I did also date quite a few strippers during those years. And in my experience in Australia, the strippers didn't really give a rat's ass what you're about. They really didn't care. A large majority of punters that go into strip clubs are generally patched gang members or associates anyway. So it was normal. There were a few who were like skinheads, but for the most part, I never had any issue when it came to dating strippers. So what about long-term dating and relationships? I must have had a few of those, yeah. Well, not really, no. Because I was back and forth with my wife at the time and I was just still in that whole party mode. I was living that life, I was living at large, so I wanted to be a bit of a player. So I didn't do long relationships, nothing longer than a month or two, It was all just casual all along through. And to be honest, I don't think I wanted to commit to anyone at that time. I'd already lost my marriage because of the movement and my involvement with it. And I really didn't want to get involved with anyone long term, potentially fall in love with someone and then come to find later that she doesn't agree with my views, she doesn't want to be a part of that world and blah, blah, blah. That was my thinking at the time. But then later on, towards the end, as I started getting out, dating also changed for me as well because I think I was looking for a way out through the girls that I was dating. And I even reconnected with an old flame in America, one who was going to marry me back in the day, just because I knew I was on my way out and I kind of needed that connection. And, I had it there. And of course, that whole, I'm leaving the whole club thing definitely went a long way as far as dating goes. The girls like to hear about stuff like that. I'm sure about to go and find redemption and, live a good life and all that kind of stuff. And since I left the Hammerskins and left all that world, I didn't actually date for a long time. I had a couple of hookups almost immediately after I quit the club. That was just kind of proving something to myself, and I'm glad I did. But as far as actual dating goes, I didn't date again for a long time. I had a lot of stuff to work on, especially up here and here. But when I first started dating again, I was lucky enough to meet an amazing person who was very open to my past and everything, and we talked extensively about it. And she had actually had her own personal dealings with Hammerskins. She was part of a left-wing protest, which was actually attacked by Hammerskins. So for her to look past all that and to see me as I am now, and for us to be able to date and to have, that connection, that really changed my life. That changed my views on dating and relationships, most definitely. And I am grateful for the times that I did date during my years as a hammerskin. Apologies to all those who I dated, who I may have treated poorly, but that part of my life is over now. I am single now, and I will be staying that way for a long time. I've got a lot of work to do, especially on myself and the channel and many other things over the next couple of years. So I'm going to keep it casual for a long, long time, because as far as relationships go, the relationship I have with all of you guys is just perfect for me. That's all I need at the moment. So that's it for another video. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Much appreciate you all. And hey, if you want to keep supporting me and keep supporting this channel, many different ways you can do it. There's coffees, of course, merchandise, Patreon, super likes, all that good stuff. But as always, if you just give this video a big like, subscribe down below and hit that little bell to get notified. New videos coming out every week. So I'll see you on Sunday for another awesome video. Have a great week. Peace out and love and light to you.